Hello and welcome to Covfeed. I'm Sam and here is your Coventry news update at 3:30. Coming up on today's show, the silent protest using children's shoes to highlight gaps in SEND care. We join Coventry's Peace March to celebrate the city's religious diversity and how the vinyl revival is being driven by Gen Zers. First today though, a protest has been taking place outside of Coventry's City House to highlight gaps in special education care in the city. The Every Pair Tells a Story campaign is highlighting the stories of children who are struggling to get the right support for education. Libby Doverston reports.
Rows of shoes laid on the steps of Coventry Council House. A silent and personal symbol for children who campaigners say needs aren't being met. The campaign Every Pair Tells a Story is organised by the SEND Sanctuary UK and Let Us Learn Too. Each pair of shoes represents a child with special educational needs and disabilities who their families say were failed by the system which is designed to protect them.
So each pair of shoes that's being laid has a story attached to them, a message that explains that young person's journey so far, whether they've been let down, whether they're not in education or they are in the wrong setting.
Parents describe long waits for assessments, support that never arrived, and unsuitable school placements which made things worse instead of better.
That these children have got the right to an education and it's giving them the right support and the right place to do that in.
This demonstration has repeated outside council houses across England, designed as a reminder of all the children who are still waiting for help. Libby Doverston, Covfeed.
Covfeed reporters did reach out to the Coventry City Council, however, unfortunately, we are yet to hear back about this. Moving on, the RSPCA has urged the public to be considerate to pets this fireworks season. They are encouraging people to think of how fireworks affect animals and discuss their planned displays with neighbours. A recent poll by the charity says an estimated 6.16 million households in England and Wales plan to set off fireworks this month alone. The charity is calling for more responsible use of fireworks and better communications in their communities. West Midlands Police have
what we would say is stick to traditional dates. Obviously, Diwali, Bonfire Night, New Year's Eve, Chinese New Year, they're the traditional dates. Try and keep your display short. If you are going to have a home display, try and use low noise fireworks and let your neighbours know well in advance as well. Have a conversation with them because you never know, your next door neighbour or a couple of doors down could have an animal that is impacted by fireworks.
The West Midlands Police Service has released that following Birmingham, Coventry has the highest rate of reported sexual violence amongst the Midlands. St Michael's reports 1,015 cases of sexual violence over women in the past year alone. West Midlands Police say improved reporting may be a factor, but they still feel that trust needs to be rebuilt for coming victims in the future. Campaigners are demanding urgent reform and pressure on police and officials to make the victims feel more safe and supported. 4 standout restaurants from Coventry and Warwickshire have been named as finalists in the National 2026 Curry Awards. Kolshi in Warwick is competing for the Indian Restaurant of the Year, while Punjabi Tarka in Coventry is shortlisted for the Punjabi category. Coventry's Farmhouse is a finalist for the Best of the West Midlands, and an Indian Street Food Corner is in the running for the Street Food Restaurant of the Year. These nominations highlight the region's growing representation for excellence in South Asian cuisine and its contribution to the UK's vibrant curry culture. Construction is set to begin this November on a major new Christian monument near Warwick. The Eternal Wall of Answered Prayer will stand at 169 feet tall and incorporate 1 million bricks, each symbolising an individual story of answered prayer. Designed in the shape of an infinity loop, the structure will be visible from up to 6 miles away and aims to serve as a lasting testament to faith and hope in the city. Once completed, the It's expected to attract over 500,000 visitors annually and become one of the UK's most significant landmarks of spiritual reflection. Coventry is known to be a culturally rich and diverse city and has been showcasing this via an annual Peace Walk, which guides people from all backgrounds and religions to places of worship around the city to promote peace and unity. Joseph Banks reports.
All religions are welcome here is the message the council is giving as the Coventry Annual Peace Festival resumes, lasting from the beginning of November and going on for 2 weeks. It started on Saturday with the Multi-Faith Peace Walk, a 4-hour guided tour of several religious hubs in the area. I attended this event. Opening at the private garden, where a crowd of around 30 people are in attendance, the event quickly moved to the Holy Trinity Church, where a priest gave a tour and shared the building's history, from a 15th century stained glass of Lady Godiva to a memorial room for those lost in the Falklands War and the sinking of HMS Coventry on May 25, 1982. After a blessing and group prayer, the peace walk continued with enthusiasm to the Nur ul Islam Jamia Mosque in Bishopsgate Green. After removing our shoes, we entered the main prayer hall, or Masala, where we learned how Muslims pray, how men and women are separated, and the tradition of burial within 24 hours of death. A short walk later, we arrived at the Hindu Sri Krishna temple. Full of colour, statues, bells and displays, we learned about Hindu beliefs in gods such as Hanuman and Ganesha, and the prophecy of Vishnu's final incarnation yet to come. The final stop was the Gurdwara Guru Nanak Parkash, with over 100 Sikh community members praying, meeting or eating in the langar, where free food and drink are offered. Before entering, we covered our hair, removed our shoes and washed our hands. Inside the Divan Hall, we saw the Palki Sahib, which houses the Guru Granth Sahib, Sikhism's central scripture. I spoke with the host of the day's events, Coventry's own Lady Godiva, about what the Peace Walk was all about.
Hi there, my name is Prue Peretta, Coventry's official Lady Godiva. We started our walk today, the Multi-Faith Peace Walk, in Priory Gardens, which would have been Godiva's first church of Coventry, 1043, and Coventry's first cathedral in 1102. So we were standing in the place that many pilgrims have stood in over 1,000 years. And we visited Christian church, we visited a mosque, Muslim, we visited a Hindi temple, and we finished in the Gurdwara where we all ate together, and it's called Balanga. So today is about all faiths and none walking together, a journey where we can talk to each other as well as investigating and looking at other places and asking questions. And it's about being in unity, all faiths, all cultures.
In recent years, Gen Z have become the driving force behind the vinyl revival. According to the industry collective The Vinyl Alliance, new research shows that 18 to 25-year-olds are now the main consumers of physical music. Harrison Pierce tells us more about this generational shift in sound.
Collecting vinyl records is seen as a symbol of true fandom for people's favourite artists, and with the recent revival since lockdown, the sales have gone through the roof. A massive reason for this is that Gen Z buyers are seeking out second-hand records due to environmental concerns and the role of vinyl in their mental well-being. 61% of Gen Z choose to listen to an album in its entirety as a way of escaping their digital life. I have come to Vinyl Shop just dropped in at Vargo Village in Coventry to find out whether collecting vinyl records helps keep them off their phones.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we now, when we first started back with the store 8 years ago, 10-15% of our audience were sort of teenagers or students. Now it's nearly 50%. So it's a huge difference, and that's not just here. It's across the industry as well. Yes, I think it's nice that you can pick and choose. You can move around, and we do find that the younger generation are picking up. Whether it be something like Hall & Oates or Steely Dan, but then maybe Arctic Monkeys or Radiohead. So they're jumping around the decades.
Phones have become central to consuming content, connecting and surpassing traditional TV viewing for many. Streaming is quick, easy and convenient. The digital world can be a daunting place for many, as on average people aged between 15 and 24 spend at least 5 hours a day on their phones. I have spoken to Dr. Rich Hall from Coventry University all about why people should listen to vinyl rather than streaming.
The physical copy of a CD or record, in this case record, it gives you a different connection, I think, to the music, and there's a sense of ceremony almost with getting the record out and putting it on the machine, and you have a stronger connection with the music when there's some kind of practical thing behind it. A bit like making a coffee. You could buy a coffee or you can make one at home with a proper espresso machine, and there's just something about the act of using the machinery and the actual artifact itself, which I think gives you a more emotional connection to the music.
In the UK, vinyl consumption increased by 15.4% in the first quarter of 2025. Record Store Day 2025 was highly successful, with overall vinyl sales rising 80% across the UK and indie stores accounting for a record high 72.1% of vinyl records in the week of the event. Gen Z has become the driving force behind vinyl record sales, with 61% compared to millennials at 53%. As a result, to improve their mental well-being, Gen Z vinyl fans have a strong desire to build connections with like-minded individuals within their new-founded community.
Now, to slide back into the sporting world, Coventry-based ice hockey team Solihull Barons are on a strong run of form, having won 3 out of their last 4 games this season. The ice hockey team will be aiming to win the league after finishing just off first in second place last year. Coventry City faced their first defeat of the season to Wrexham over the weekend after a perfect hat-trick from centre-forward Kiefer Moore. Our reporter Will Roberts was sent to the report a little while ago.
Wrexham have produced their performance of the season, coming from behind to beat league leaders Coventry City 3-2. However, it was the visitors who struck first, with Ephraim Mason-Clark making that first goal happen in the halfway mark through the first half with a great cross from Sakamoto. Wrexham had their chances before the break with Josh Windass, Lewis O'Brien and Max Cleworth all getting close, but they couldn't find their way past Carl Rushworth in the goal. After the restart though, the game completely changed. On the hour mark, Issa Kabore found Windass, who crossed from Moore to slot home from close range. 9 minutes later, Moore met another Windass delivery, this time guiding a precise header into the bottom corner to put Wrexham in front. After 7 minutes this time, Moore sealed it again, rifling home a left-footed strike to complete his perfect hat-trick and send the fans wild. It's his 9th goal this season and Wrexham's first league hat-trick since 1982. Coventry did pull one back through Sakamoto late on, but it wasn't enough to secure their unbeaten record. It's a huge win for Phil Parkinson's side and one that shows the benefit of his squad rotation, something that Coventry have been struggling with this season, with backup players not being as strong as that starting 11. Frank Lampard claimed the team were very normal in comparison to their very abnormal season. Back to the studio.
Frank Lampard's Sky Blues will be looking to bounce back tomorrow night against Sheffield United when they play at the CBS Arena. Now, let's move on to the weather. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap up warm this autumn season. Expect light rains on and off throughout the afternoon with highs around 14 degrees Celsius. Winds are set to be strong and you'll feel cooler as we head up to the evening, dipping to about 9 degrees. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for now, and that's been your 3:30 roundup at Covfeed. Make sure to follow us at Covfeed on Instagram and TikTok for more updates from us. But for now, thank you.